What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another New York Giants video. And in this video, I'm going to recap the 4-1 New York Football Giants, baby. That's right. The New York Football Giants upset the Green Bay Packers by a final score of 27-22. I'm ecstatic to dive into this game. But first, as always, make sure to go check us out on our social media below, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Big Blue Avenue. And this episode is presented by our proud sponsor, BetUS. There's our promo code below there to sign up. It's JOIN125. Again, that's JOIN125. Get a 125% sign-up bonus. Place all your bets on the go, anywhere, anytime, straight from your mobile device. That's BetUS, where the game begins. All right, a lot to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. The New York Giants defeat the Green Bay Packers by a final score of 27-22. And definitely an upset in my book. I think Green Bay was favored by 8.5 in this game. And not only was this game in London, but the Giants are now 3-0 in London. The Giants embraced the London culture. You know, the Eli Manning show was there this week. That might have instilled some luck in the team. Giants improved to 4-1 for the first time in 13 years. They scored a season high with 27 points. And so far this year, out of all four of the Giants' wins, they've won by a combined 17 total points. And this win did not come easy. Giants were down 20-10 at halftime. They were down 17-3 at one point as well. And Saquon Barkley went out with an injury. Adoree Jackson went out with an injury on the defense. Fabian Moreau as well. And then, of course, obviously no Leonard Williams, Azeez Ojulari on the defensive side of the ball. It was brutal. The Giants were without four defensive starters, without their top four wide receivers, and they beat Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. Let's talk about the MVP of this game, in my opinion, and what he brought to the table. Number 8, quarterback Daniel Jones. As I mentioned, missing all top four of his wide receivers, Jones was fantastic. He completed 78% of his passes for 217 yards, had 37 rushing yards on the ground, and this turnover stigma on Daniel Jones might just have to stop. Jones is averaging 0.6 turnovers per game in 2022, just one fumble through 5 weeks. He also has just one turnover in his last 4 games. His QBR this week was 75.2 with a 100.2 rating. Daniel Jones also leads the NFL with 3 game-winning drives this season. Incredible, right? And you look at the third down offense, remarkable. 6 for 11 on third down. And, you know, a good chunk of this praise needs to go to the coaching staff and Brian Dable, what he's been able to instill in this offense. Mike Kafka with the play calling. Saquon Barkley returning to form. The offensive line improving. But you have to give Daniel Jones credit. This was a gritty performance. And if he continues to play like this, why not bring him back next year? Why not? It's not like you're going to be picking high in the draft anyway, especially if you keep winning football games like this. The Giants are a legit football team this season. This is not a throwaway season anymore. This is not a rebuilding season. The Giants are good. They're 4-1. They have not a terrible roster, but not a good roster, right? Yet they're still winning football games because every week they go in and say, yeah, we may not be better than you, but we can out-coach you. And that's exactly what the Giants have been doing. Let's talk about Saquon. He injured his shoulder and re-entered the game. Gritty. 13 rushes, 70 yards, and a score. Had a 41-yard rush in that game, averaged 5.5 yards a clip. Typical Saquon fashion. Also had 3 catches for 36 yards. And part of the reason why Saquon continues to be so successful this season is the play of left tackle Andrew Thomas, who had 0 pressures allowed on 34 pass blocking snaps. He was outstanding. Also, quick shout out to my guy, right guard Mark Lewinsky. Love that dude. He had a really good game as well. Had the second highest PFF grade on the O-line. In my opinion, he is the second best offensive lineman on this team right now, behind Andrew Thomas. And also, I want to give a shout out to an old friend who finally, rose from the dead this game, Darius Slayton. 6 catches for 79 yards, has fulfilled the role of the Giants' number one wide receiver. And again, that's not saying much when you have Richie James and David Sills, but quite frankly, Slayton's the best they got. He's the best they got. Also, Marcus Johnson, who was elevated from the practice squad, this is an interesting player. He wound up with 3 catches for 35 yards. Not only that, the Giants had 58 offensive snaps in this game. Marcus Johnson played on 45 of those snaps. This guy got elevated from the practice squad. It's incredible. It's incredible what Mike Kafka's been able to do with these no-name players. The red zone improvement is insane. I believe the Giants were 3 for 4 in the red zone this week. I never thought I'd say Daniel Bellinger's second career touchdown would be on the ground. Bellinger had 2 catches for 22 yards. And on that little double reverse, it looked like he was trying to throw and find either Daniel Jones or Tanner Hudson, but he decided to keep it. Dable trusted his legs a little bit more than his arm. Daniel Bellinger, that is, fun fact, first rookie to score a rushing touchdown in franchise history. You learn something new every day, folks. You learn something new every day. Gary Brightwell also scored his first touchdown of his young career, second year back out of Arizona. Had a nice little, typical because they're in London, the rugby-style scrum. Brightwell ran behind for that touchdown. And here's a stat that I just pulled up. Shout out Alex Wilson, Empire Sports Media. The New York Giants have the 13th ranked red zone offense with a 58% conversion rate. They ranked dead last year at 44%. Again, you don't need all these playmakers. You just need a scheme that works, and you could score. I mean, look at the players who scored the touchdowns for the Giants this week. Saquon Barkley, best player on the football team. Then you have Daniel Bellinger, 4th-round rookie, and Gary Brightwell, 3rd-string back. You don't need superstars out there. What you need is good coaching and a good scheme, and that's what the Giants have. Defensively, let's talk about Link Martindale. In the first half, it did not look good. The Giants surrendered 20 points. I'm thinking, this is the game. But the second half, they did a complete 180. The defense was remarkable. They were pressuring Aaron Rodgers, making life very difficult for him. They were batting down passes. David Bakhtiari wasn't 100%. I get that. He was in and out of the game, but still, this is a good Green Bay Packers team. Not as good as previous years, but they're still good. Again, no Leonard Williams, no Azeez Ojulari for the Giants. No excuses, though. Adoree Jackson had 6 tackles in the first half before he left with a knee injury. To make matters worse, corner number 2, Fabian Moreau, left with an injury as well. So the Giants were starting Nick McLeod and Justin Lane at the 2 corner positions. 2 guys that were claimed off of waivers after cutdown day this year and who were out for the first 3 to 4 weeks of the season. The first 3 weeks, I should say. Incredible. What's even more incredible is these guys were outstanding in the second half. Rodgers threw for just 75 yards in the second half. Julian Love was great. And again, it's the safeties too. McKinney and Love continue to thrive. Jalen Smith has been a nice addition to this defense. 6 tackles for him and Sexy Dexy. I mean, Dexter Lawrence is balling out at that nose tackle position. Had another sack this past week. That's now 3 on the year for him. Also had 5 tackles. Back to the secondary. I believe Lane, McLeod, and Darnay Holmes each had a pass defended. And also rookie edge rusher Kayvon Thibodeau, 3 tackles and 2 passes defended. One was off his helmet. He got in the way quite nicely. And I don't know about you folks, but I love Jihad Ward. He's one of my favorite players on the team. He had 2 passes defended in that game, 2 quarterback hits, a tackle in the backfield. And O'Shane Ximenez, ladies and gentlemen, the strip sack Rodgers loses as he's attempting that late heave there on the final play of the game. We know Rodgers has the arm to make that throw. So it's definitely a dangerous play if he gets that ball up for grabs. But O'Shane Ximenez says, no, not today. Giants win 27-22. Yardage for the game. Giants outgained the Packers 338-301. Neither team had a turnover, so a clean game. Nevertheless, Giants outscored the Packers 14-2 in the fourth quarter. And I want to point out one thing at the end of the game that I really liked. So the Giants were up by 7. They were pinned deep in their own end zone. It's 4th down, red zone, I should say. End zone. So Jamie Gillen, there's about, at this point, 15, 16 seconds left in the game. Jamie Gillen runs to the left corner of the end zone, swallows up some clock, and takes a knee on it. And I saw somebody today mention that they spoke with Bill Parcells, and Parcells told them they were screaming at the TV for Dable to make that play call, and he did. It is a very smart play call by Brian Dable to waste away more time, to only give Rodgers one opportunity to heave it instead of two. So it was definitely a smart play there by Jamie Gillen. Plus, you trust your coverage more on a safety punt rather than an actual punt deep in your own end zone. It moves the ball up, so you don't have to worry about the potential of getting it blocked because you know they'll send the house and try to score a touchdown on it. At the end of the day, though, again, special teams was good again. Gano was solid. I mean, just love this team. I mean, they're fun to watch every week. Aaron Jones, nothing special, 63 yards on the ground. Romeo Doubs, all the hype around him, 3 catches, 29 yards. Randall Cobb had a good game, though, 7 catches, 99 yards. That's A-Rod's number one receiver right now, and he plays mostly in the slot. Lazard, who had a touchdown, and Doubs, both of those players have to step up. They have to step up. One of my players to watch in this game defensively for Green Bay was Preston Smith, who had a great game. He had 3 QB hits, 1 sack, and 4 tackles. He was solid. I thought that he was a player that was going to get some pressure off of Evan Neal, knowing that Andrew Thomas would be matched up against Rashawn Gary majority of the game. Rashawn Gary made his presence known when he, moved to the other 3-tech position on the line. But overall, the Giants did a good job confusing the Packers front, especially in that second half, driving the football down the field. The Giants also had their longest touchdown drive in like 2 years. Not 2 years, 7 years this past week, as far as clock goes, like clock time. So that was interesting. And overall, my final thoughts on the game, I'm happy the New York Giants are 4-1. The team's not perfect. It wasn't pretty. There's still work to be done. But this team is good. And if they continue to play this way and play hard-fought games against good football teams, the playoffs might not be out of the option for Big Blue in 2022. Let's go Big Blue.